That's one of those conversations you have with your eyes open. Dear Lord, please, and you're praying and you're talking with them, and He likes that. So I'm not saying do away with that. And I'm not saying do away with the prayers before you eat your meal. Anybody do a blessing or a grace over their meal? All right? I'm not saying that. So I understand that all of y'all are praying probably 5 or 6 times a day. I'm talking about a prayer where you say, I have a room or I have a special place outside, inside, wherever, where I go. And I let everybody that's in the house, if there's people in the house or anybody around, say, hey, I'm going to be busy for a little bit, so don't bother me for a little bit. And you go and you be still and you pray and talk with God. Because when you're driving down the road, you can pray, but you really can't hear a lot about what's coming back because you've got to drive. A prayer where there's no distractions, nothing to dilute it, nothing to take away from it, just you and God in perfect harmony. This is the type of prayer that I'm going to be talking about and challenging you during this discipleship, is the type of prayer that once a day, and y'all, it does not matter how long. I'm going to go ahead and let y'all on a little secret. God prefers quality over length. It doesn't matter. There's people that can roll out in some of the most beautiful prayers you ever heard and can go on for 5 or 10 minutes, and you got your head bowed and you're doing your neck like that and you're rubbing it a little bit. In the back of your mind you're thinking, man, that's just a good prayer, but I wish he would finish. My neck's starting to hurt. You ever done that? You ever had your head bowed so long it started to hurt your neck a little bit? I'm not talking about, though you don't have to pray. I have heard some people say, some of the children during children's moment can say a prayer that lasts about 10 seconds and it will actually bring tears to your eyes. That's what I'm talking about, the sincerity, not the length. So this isn't something that you have to take an hour a day or 20 minutes. You might only have to take 5 minutes one day, and then one day you might have to take 30 minutes. Because if you're like me, I have some days where me and the Lord have a little bit more to talk about than we did the day before. You ever had one of them days where you and the Lord have more than a 5-minute conversation that needed to be talked about? It changes from day to day, but I'm talking about taking time each day to say, I am going to go to a special place, whether it's a prayer room, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to bow down and I'm going to get in the right frame of mind. I'm going to take a moment just to be silent and just get everything out of my mind, and then I'm going to go into prayer and I'm going to talk to God and I'm going to listen. That, to me, I think, is a good way to start off becoming a closer disciple. Pray all your other times. And if you're already doing this, then you're already, well, heck, I've already got this first month living. I'm already doing that. But take time and say that this is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to devote myself, if even for 5 minutes, it's just going to be me and God. And for these 5 minutes, He will have every bit of me. Nothing else in the world will matter. Nothing else will interrupt. If I'm not answering the phone, if it rings, I'm not answering it. Matter of fact, I might even unplug it while I'm thinking and talking and praying to God. As we do this, I also want y'all to do me one more thing. And I did it today, and I thought it would be easier, but it was a little bit harder than I thought. Because I can pray if I'm just saying it. And me and the Lord are talking. I mean, I can just... But a lot of times I read these books where it's just a list of prayers. You ever read a book or a little kind of devotion or whatever, and it's just a list of prayers where people have written prayers or written blessings? Everybody who has signed up, I want to challenge you between now and the end of the month. And it may be tonight, it may be next week that you do it, but I want to challenge you to sit down, not during your prayer time with God, during another time, and I want you to write out a prayer. It doesn't have to be long in length. I just want you to sit down and I want you to write out a prayer. If you want to keep it for yourself, that's fine. If you would like for it to be read without anybody really knowing who wrote it, that's where I'm wanting to get with this. I'm wanting your prayers to actually be part of worship. If you want to get up here during Sunday morning or evening service and say your prayer, that would be wonderful to me. I do not claim ownership to this pulpit. If you would like to give it to me and say, here's a prayer that I've written, I would like for you to pray. So this isn't a prayer about a specific thing for that day. This is a generalization prayer. Because I think sometimes when you have to think in your writing, because it's a lot more challenging than I thought, it makes you think a lot more about what prayer is and what really matters. Because a lot of times when I'm praying, I've got a lot of stuff going on, but a lot of them, as I was going to write it down, really weren't, they were specific to me, but they weren't general to the world. And I wanted to think of a prayer that anybody could read and could say, you know what? That prayer could fit my life. So our first month, we're going to focus on prayer through August. If you're on the list, I want you to take one day, every day, I want you to take one moment that you get away from the distraction of the world, inside, outside, at home, besides evening and besides when you first wake up at nighttime, besides the regular praying, and just give it to God, devote yourself to it. And then I want you sometime between now and then to sit down with pen and paper and write out your prayer for the world, your prayer for this community, your prayer for this nation. But sit down and write a prayer, and then I want to ask you to either bless us with saying it yourself or bring it to me so I can use it as a prayer, because I really think that if we start really focusing on our prayers to God, I think we may see that He might start turning things around, because I really don't know if we are praying in the way that God really, really wants us to pray. That way that is directly us and Him and nothing in between. So that is my challenge. It's nothing crazy. It's not a lot of committee meetings. It's just about connecting closer to God. It's about spending a little more time. I really think it will help this church, this charge, this community, if we can get a group of us that will draw closer and closer to God. I think that you will see things happen that will just blow your mind. And I think that prayer should always be the thing that you start off with. That's why it's first. Next month, just to give you a little advance notice, we will be doing scripture. I have a little weird thing I'm going to do with that. I think 4 months down the road is fasting, so you have time to prepare yourself, because we are going to eventually delve into fasting, and I think it's something that we need to bring back. I do not have speaking in tongues as part of the thing, so if that comes to you, fine. If it doesn't, that's fine too. But we're staying within a lot of the practices of the United Methodists, but it's just being a lot more serious about it. Tonight we're going to end, and we're not going to have music. We'll just sing Amazing Grace. That way, we know the song, we know the word. We'll just sing the first line over and over if people come. But as simple as this may seem, prayer, it's actually taking a step forward and saying, I'm going to make my prayer, thank you very much, thank y'all. I'm going to make my prayer more sacred, more committed. And some of y'all, like I said, may be doing it, but if you haven't been doing it and you've decided, yes, this is something I want to do, this altar is going to be open as we sing Amazing Grace. If you just want to come and say, Lord, I've made this decision. This is just something I'm going to work hard on, but I need your help. I need your strength. Because a lot of times I pray when it's convenient. I'm in the morning, I wake up, I'm already laying in bed. Sometimes I fall asleep. Anybody ever been praying at night and falling asleep while you were praying? I do that. There's nothing wrong with that. I think that's the best way to go to sleep. But a lot of times I do it when I'm already at a place where I don't have to really sacrifice time. I want us to realize that God understands that we are making a decision and we are actually setting some time for Him that doesn't fit into our normal schedule. If you want to pray about it, this altar is going to be open. But I thank y'all for starting this journey with me, and hopefully it'll be something that not only changes this community, but more importantly, changes us within. That's what I think being a disciple is about. It's about starting with ourselves. If you would, please stand as we sing Amazing Grace, and the altar is going to be